Once again, a very hearty welcome to the English world of Aradhya. Students, myself Rashmin Dabi, teaching English to the students of 9 to 12 standard of English medium. Okay, students, if you remember, last time in my last video, we had taken your first poem, The Road Not Taken. Now, today we will discuss the question answers and also the figures of speech for the entire poem. So, first we will take up your question answers. Look at the first question. Where does the traveler find himself? What problem does he face? So, in the very beginning only he says that two roads diverged in a wood and sorry I could not travel both. So, two roads, he finds himself, the traveler finds himself at a point where two roads, yani two choices he has in life and he has to make a decision for any one choice. Okay. So, if we go according to the poem, while traveling into the forest, the poet finds himself at a point from where two roads are diverging in a yellow wood. That is your answer. What problem does he face? He faces the problem of choosing one of the two roads. That is his problem. Okay. Second question, discuss what these phrases mean to you. While explaining the poem, I already told you what it means. Okay. Once again, I will repeat. First one, a yellow wood. Yellow wood means because it is an autumn season, the leaves have ripened up and that's why it is what? The autumn season wood, autumn season forest, where all the ripe leaves have fallen down and it looks yellow. So, you can say that is the autumnal season where the wood looks yellow. Second, it was grassy and wanted wear. It was grassy and wanted wear. I had told you that the second road was very grassy and wanted wear. So, it was not very much used. Grassy and wanted wear. The grass has grown over there. If the number of people had gone by that road, the grass would have been crushed. But grass has grown, that's why it says that it was not very much walked upon and it requires the people to walk upon that road. So, that is the meaning of that, less worn out you can say. The passing there, okay, the passing there here means the people passing through both the roads. Passing there means the people passing through both the roads. Next one, fourth one, leaves no step had trodden black. So, the leaves that had fallen during the night and in the morning are still there and it seems that nobody has walked upon it. Okay, both the roads are untrodden for today morning. बराबर, आज की मॉर्निंग का देखें तो आज की मॉर्निंग में अभी तक वहाँ से कोई गया नहीं है. तो leaves no step had trodden black. So nobody had walked over it today particular that day morning. Then how way leads on to way. Okay. So here again the one road leading you to another or still another or still another. So anywhere, the road is leading you anywhere in life. The road may lead you to any point in life. That is the meaning of that. How way leads on to way. Okay. So one road always leads you to another, then to another, then to another. That is the meaning of that. Okay. Now we discuss the third question. Is there any difference between the two roads as the poet describes in stanza 2 and 3 and in the last two lines of the poem? Okay. So, in stanza 2 and 3, if you see, it is clearly said that second road was very grassy and it wanted wear. So, that was having better claim. Here many people have gone. So, it is not that much demanding, but second road is demanding. It is inviting the people, you come and walk upon me. Okay. So, that is the meaning over there. And third stanza if you see, okay, third stanza poet makes the decision that he kept the first one for another day and took the less travelled one. So, he already made the decision. So, here stanzas second and third are more connected with the second road and the choice of the poet. And yours second point in that, question number 3, in the last two lines of the poem, okay, so last two lines of the poem, I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I told you in my last video, when we were understanding this poem, I had told you that we have to take this in a positive way. Suppose the poet has taken science and today he has become surgeon, so he took the less traveled road, and because of that one choice, one decision, today he is surgeon. He can proudly say that this one decision in my life helped me to reach this post. Understood? So he is quite happy over there, even though the word sigh is used. Sigh has both the meanings, but we take it in a positive way. So that is what it means. Okay, then your fourth question, what do you think the last two lines of the poem mean? Okay, so last two lines of the poem, looking back, does the poet regret his choice or accept? So in a way, when we look at the word sigh, normally without word sigh, if you read it, then it is crystal clear the writer, yani the poet, does not regret his choice, but on the contrary, he is happy with his choice, because today whatever he has become, that was just because of that one decision. But in the last stanza, the word sigh is used. He says that I'll be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. So that word sigh is ambiguous. So here we cannot exactly say whether he regrets his choice or he is happy with his choice. Okay? So it is ambiguous. But if you read without the word sigh, then it is 100% sure that the poet is happy with his choice, and he is proudly saying that he made the choice and that has made all the difference in his life. Today whatever he has become, that is just because of that one choice. Okay? Okay students, so I think the question answers are quite clear. Now we will go for the figures of speech of every line of this poem. Okay? Look at the first poem, first line. The two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So the roads are given the quality of diverging. So that is, it is personification. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Second figure of speech you can think of for the first line is yellow wood, the word used for forest. So it is metonymy. Metonymy is what? Change of name. Okay, the eye of the sky shone brightly, means the eye of the sky means the sun. The sun shone brightly. So for sun, those eye of the sky words are used. Similarly here for a forest, the word wood is used. And again yellow wood, that shows autumn season forest. Okay, so that's why it is metonymy also. Okay, if we go on to the next line, and sorry I could not travel both. And sorry I could not travel both. From the line only you can make out, students, if you know all the figures of speech, instantly you can give the right answers. And remember, I taught you all the figures of speech last year. While teaching only, I had told you that all these figures of speech will be there in standard 9, 10th, 11th and 12th. So if you look at this particular line, and sorry I could not travel both, so negative word is used, not. So that's why it is what? Litotes or litotes, whatever you call. Understood? Then we move on to the third line. And be one traveler long I stood. Okay. And be one traveler long I stood. So students, if you just look at this line, so here we'll have to take it in the context of the second sentence also. So both the lines we will take together. And be one traveler long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. if we take those two lines together, normally those two only will be asked, then you get the figures of speech. So what is the figure of speech over there? One is, the word one is repeated as also repeated twice, as. So you can say it is repetition. The same word is repeated twice. One is also repeated twice and as is also repeated twice. So it is repetition. Okay. And if we see some more words, long looked. So long and looked, L sound is repeated, so it is alliteration. Okay. In those two lines, third and fourth line I am talking about. And if you see the ending words of both the lines, stood and could, are having the similar sound, ending sound, so it is internal rhyme. Understood? So these many figures of speech are there for line third and fourth: repetition, internal rhyme, alliteration. Okay, those three figures of speech are there. Then, to where it bent in the undergrowth. To where it bent, it means the road. The road cannot bend, so that's why it is personification. Okay. And in the undergrowth, undergrowth represents what? Undergrowth represents the unnecessary grass and plants which have grown over there in the forest. So that is also metonymy. Okay. Now we move on to the first line of the second stanza. Then took the other just as fair and perhaps having the better claim. Okay. Then took the other just as fair. So it is here just as fair. Second road is compared with the first road. The second road was also as fair as the first road. So the figure of speech over here is simile. The common quality talked about is fairness of the road. Okay. Two objects compared over here are the first road and the second road. Okay. And the words of comparison used is as. Okay. Then it is also then and the sound is repeated over here. So it is alliteration. And having perhaps the better claim. So that also, students, figure of speech over there is personification, because road cannot have claim. We people can have claim over the property, over many other things, but road cannot have claim. But here it is shown that second road was having perhaps the better claim. Understood? So that is personification. Okay, third line of that stanza. Because it was grassy and wanted wear. Grassy means very much grass has grown over there. People had not walked upon that road. And wanted wear. Wanted wear means also that people had not gone over that road. So it wanted wear. इसको क्या है, उसके ऊपर चलने की जरूरत है. तो both the words are giving the same meaning. That's why the figure of speech is tautology. Okay. You can also say that it was grassy and wanted wear. This is told in some high amount. So it is hyperbole also. Okay. Now we move on to the next line, that is the fourth line of the second stanza. Though as for that, the passing there, okay, if you take only that line, fourth line, then though, that, the, there, so the sound is repeated through all these words. So you can say it is alliteration. Okay. And passing there, there means where? There, the word used over here refers to both the roads. कि दोनों रोड से चलते तो क्या होता? So that is metonymy. Okay. Had warned them really about the same. So here also two words are there, them and the. So that is alliteration. Once again, it is alliteration. Had warned them really about the same. That is again, students, hyperbole. क्योंकि दोनों रोड पे चले होते तो दोनों इतना सेम मात्रा में क्या है, वॉर्न आउट हुए होते, ऐसा नहीं है. कोई थोड़ा ज़्यादा होता, कोई कम होता. यहाँ बोलते हैं कि दोनों रोड पे से एक जैसे ही नंबर के लोग गए होते, 60 यहाँ से 60 यहाँ से, तो बोले सेम मात्रा में वो वॉर्न आउट होता. नो, सेम मात्रा में नहीं होता, थोड़ा डिफरेंस तो रह जाता. तो ये थोड़ा हाइपरबोल है, बड़ा चढ़ा के बोला है. Okay, then we move on to the first line of the third stanza. And both that morning equally lay. Okay, so students, here equally lay means they were just placed like those only. In leaves no step had trodden black. Now, if you just take the first line, and both that morning equally lay. So here it is anastrophe because word order is changed, and both that morning equally lay, it is word order is changed, it should be and both lay equally that morning, ऐसा word order होना चाहिए, word order change किया है, that's why it is anastrophe. In leaves no step had trodden black. Okay, in leaves no step had trodden black, no step had passed by. So here no step refers to the people, so that's why again it is metonymy. Okay, and word no is there, so whenever you get the words no, not, never, nowhere, ये सब आए तो उसका मतलब क्या होता है? Which figure of speech? Litotes. So litotes is very clear. In leaves no step had trodden black, तो litotes तो आएगा ही, but step here means the people, so that's why it is metonymy. Okay, okay, you can also say it is step refers to the footprints of the people, so it is synecdoche. Oh, I kept the first for another day. It is quite easy to identify this figure of speech. Oh, I kept the first for another day. In the end you see exclamation mark, so the figure of speech is exclamation. Then here another F sound is repeated through the words first and for, so that's why it is alliteration. Okay, oh, I kept the first for another day. So here you get two figures of speech, that is exclamation and alliteration. Yet knowing how way leads on to way. Yet knowing how way leads on to way. So here it is quite easy because the word way is repeated twice. Okay, how, knowing how way leads on to way. So that's why it is repetition, and it is also, students, it is also personification because way is given the quality of leading. Okay, human quality of leading, so it is personification. And if you take both the lines together, third and fourth, so you see the ending words of both the lines, day and way, so that's why it is internal rhyme as well. Okay, so third and fourth line if taken together, then the figure of speech is internal rhyme also. Otherwise both are taken separately, then here one is repetition, personification, and when both are taken together you can add internal rhyme also in that. I doubted if I should ever come back. Okay, so here again students you see the word I is repeated, so it is repetition. I doubted if I should ever come back. So students, that is, you can say, ionical sentences, irony, because writer knows that once he goes on a particular road, once he picks up one particular field, he cannot go back to that point from where he had made a choice. So we can say it is irony. Okay, next, last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Okay, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Now the word sigh, okay, as I told you, used for deep breath. When you take deep breath, some sound comes. So word sigh itself shows some sound, and any words showing sound, which figure of speech is it? It is onomatopoeia. So here first you can make out, because of that one word, that figure of speech over here is onomatopoeia. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Okay, don't be misguided by the spelling. If you look at spelling telling and this, and you might say that sir both begin with T, so alliteration. No, alliteration has different same sound, beginning sound for all the words. Here one word's spelling begins with T, but its sound is T, and another word also spelling begins with T, but its sound is the. Telling this, तो ट and the words शुरू होता है, that's why it is not alliteration. Just keep that thing in mind. Then second line, somewhere ages and ages hence. So again very easy, because here the word ages is repeated twice. So repetition. Okay, you can say ages and ages. So a sound is repeated, that's why it is alliteration. Okay, then again two roads diverged in a wood. Okay, and I. So again that is the first line of the poem repeated over here. So the figure of speech over there is what? Personification. And personification and metonymy. Wood is used for forest. I took the one less traveled by. Okay, if you take the last part of the previous line and I took the one less traveled by, then I is repeated twice, so you can go for repetition. And I took the one less traveled by. So that is also epigram. Epigram is telling you what, students? That first sight it looks very ridiculous, but if you think deeper, it is a short witty saying. If you think deeper, then you might feel that no, yes, it is possible, yaar, ye shakya hai. Okay, so here if you think little, you will be sure that the poet has made the right choice. Today he has become surgeon on whatever he is because of that one decision. वो डिसीजन तब नहीं लिया होता तो आज कुछ दूसरा बना होता जो उसकी कैपेसिटी से काफ़ी कम है. ओके, I took the one less traveled by. So here again students, the one less traveled by refers to the first road, so it is metonymy also. Okay, and the last line, and that has made all the difference. That here means that choice, so that word refers to the choice, so it is metonymy. Okay, that has made all the difference. So here word that and the is again repeated in the previous line, took and traveled. So there also it is alliteration. In this last line the words that and the is there, so that is also alliteration, and that has made all the difference. So that choice has made the difference. That refers to the choice, that's why it is metonymy, and that has made the difference. So non-living thing, abstract idea, the choice is given the quality of making difference. So that's why it is students personification also. So I hope all the figures of speech of this particular lessons and question answers, this poem and the question answers of these poems are quite clear, and I hope you will be able to do well in your school exams or all the other exams whenever any question of this poem is asked. Okay, so we just wind up over here. In my next video we will see your second poem, that is wind. Okay, till then, goodbye, have a nice day.